Welcome, everybody, to the Freedom Hub. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about cancel culture, something that has just grown in strength immensely within the past 2 decades. It kind of started off during the Obama administration and has just gained more and more traction over the years. So I'm going to talk about specific examples of cancel culture or call out culture, however you want to refer to it. It's pretty much the same thing. And I'm also going to talk about how liberals use cancel culture to fit their agenda. I'm also going to talk a little bit about what you can do to help stop it. So stick around for this episode of the Freedom Hub. It is a great day to be an American. Why? Because of patriots like you who go out of their way to hear the conservative voice that is trying to be silenced by mainstream media and many other avenues out there. It's patriots like you that make this country a great country. And conservative voices like my own are definitely in danger of being silenced more than ever right now. So please do me a favor. Go ahead, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell over there and let freedom ring throughout the land. Don't forget to share this with your friends, please. The success of this channel and the success of conservative voices like mine depend on you spreading that freedom around. Thank you very much. Today we are talking about cancel culture. Cancel culture. It is defined as a modern form of ostracism in which someone is thrust out of social or professional circles, whether it be online or on social media or in person. In other words, sending out a modern-day lynch mob to attack people or ideas that don't coincide with popular culture or popular opinion. Now, we've seen this a lot over the years, and I'm going to give you a quick recap of some of the instances that we've seen. Do you remember Roseanne? Roseanne Barr. So one of the most popular TV sitcoms of the 1990s. I remember it was so edgy that even my mother did not like me watching it at all. It probably also had something to do with when she sang the national anthem that one time, and it was kind of embarrassing. We had a lot of patriots in my family, and it seemed a bit disrespectful, but regardless, it was still a very, very popular show. And in 2018, they did the unthinkable. They actually brought it back. They revived it. They changed up how the original series ended and kind of created a new one with the entire original cast. Pretty unheard of, but at the same time, it's not like Hollywood has a bunch of new ideas these days. They're just rehashing the old ones that worked. So what she did, she posted a tweet. She posted a tweet, as most celebrities do, and got immediately attacked for it, saying that, oh, you meant this, it was racist. It was awful. And they blew it up. So after that, Bob Iger and Disney Corporation canceled her show on ABC. It was like 2 episodes in, I think, and completely canceled. And said, oh, we did the right thing. It was a long time coming. You'll hear more about that from Disney here a little bit later in the episode, but her 40-year-old son, which kind of runs her studio, her media company, said as soon as she put on a MAGA hat, she was the enemy to ABC and the media. They were looking for any reason to get rid of her. As long as you were voting for Hillary Clinton, you could say whatever you wanted. But damn her for having an opinion contrary to that of the company, for believing in something different. And so, literally, canceled. The next person on my list is Lana Del Rey. I don't know a lot about Lana Del Rey, and it's kind of weird because I'm a musician, and so is she. She was a very popular musician within the past couple of years, and wasn't really my thing. I think I remember hearing a couple songs and thinking like, oh, that's kind of like a college radio kind of thing where, a lot of my liberal friends listen to it, and it's like, yeah, I see the appeal. I was in college once, and I've had that conversation at the bar where it's like, oh, you don't know who this is? Oh, well then, do you even read? Yeah, there was a lot of that. So Lana Del Rey got accused that her songs did not empower women enough. I mean, come on. When you're an artist, you sing and you write songs from the heart, and you write from your own experiences. And that's what you do. And you transfer those thoughts and those feelings to music and lyrics. And that's what you do. So if her music didn't empower women enough, and she was being accused of that, it's kind of ridiculous. It's like, oh, well, because you're a singer, you have a duty. It's absolutely ridiculous. You're an artist. You either like her or you don't. So she combated that by saying that a lot of artists have songs that don't empower women, like Ariana Grande, like Doja Cat, and Cardi B. How empowering is that song that came out last year? Let me know in the comments section how empowering Cardi B's WAP is to you. Ariana Grande, Cardi B, Beyonce, and others. She said not a lot of their songs empower women either. So what's the problem? And because in her response, she named mainly African American artists, they called her a racist. They called her a racist, and they started the hashtag Lana Del Racist. Her music career was over after all of that. Next up, we have somebody that everybody knows. Everybody knows either from even just walking down the street and seeing movie posters or the bookshelves or the craze from teens and preteens about when these books were released back in the early 2000s. And that's J.K. Rowling, author of the Harry Potter series. Harry Potter has his own theme park, bi-coastal, in Hollywood and Orlando. It's kind of a huge chunk of pop culture. A lot of people grew up with those books, grew up with those movies, and they have her to thank for that. That came from her mind. When she wrote the original Harry Potter book, she was she was practically homeless. Things were pretty rough for her in the UK. And she wrote the book and got it published, and it was a huge hit, and it changed her life. It really did. It was pretty great. Now, one of the things that she has spoken out against is a lot of the issues that go along with the popularity of the transgender movement in America. well, in the world. So she pointed out the danger of letting children transition at such a young age. She also pointed out the dangers of the possibility of letting anybody use any bathroom. Now, one of the reasons why she pointed this out is because she herself was a victim of sexual assault and domestic violence. She experienced it firsthand, and she didn't want to see that happen to anybody else. And allowing just anybody into any bathroom literally opens the door for those kind of things to happen. So she spoke out against it. People literally burned her books. People emailed her pictures about how they turned it into compost. She was canceled. About the same time, the Fantastic Beasts movies started not doing as well in theaters as they should, especially that second one. It's kind of a train wreck. But maybe there's a third one, or maybe Warner Brothers has canceled it as well because of the association with her. We'll see. We'll keep watching. The cancel culture took her from an amazing success story, from being absolutely nothing, to being one of the highest paid and most respected authors in the world. Most artists don't become super famous until after they die, whether it's actual visual art or an author, writing. But she accomplished that. And then because she warns the world about the dangers of the things associated with the trans movement, it's pretty bad. They say she's a transphobe and she hates transgender people and she's against it. And nothing could be really further from the truth. She's come out and said, I have no problem with transgender people at all. She has gone on the record publicly and said that. She said, I just have a problem with these things. Not enough. Next up on the list, one that you more than likely have heard about in the news recently, Gina Carano. Now, Gina Carano is one of the most recent cancellations. She updated her Twitter profile, putting down her preferred pronouns not too long ago as beep, bop, boop, as opposed to like him, he, she, her, zim, zer, zapazoid, I don't know. And so she put beep, bop, boop, and they're just like, well, that's poking fun at a very serious issue. So she's probably homophobic or transphobic or something. LGBTQAIP++, blah, blah, blah. A phobic. She also posted a picture of somebody wearing multiple masks with the caption, "Meanwhile, in California." Because of how absolutely ridiculous it looked and how absolutely pointless the whole double masking thing is. So she poked fun at it, at saying, this has to be from the most liberal state in the country. I agree with her. So she also posted a little thing on her Instagram stories. It was a block of words, and when you read them out together, it said, Jeff Epstein didn't kill himself. Now they're saying this was part of the reason why she got fired from from Disney and The Mandalorian is because of all of these things that I'm mentioning, including the Jeff Epstein didn't kill himself thing, which was a hugely popular hashtag within the last 2 years, pretty much since he didn't kill himself, not too long ago. And I'm sure they didn't take very well to that because the whole Jeff Epstein thing, the conspiracy is that he was murdered by the royal family because of that prince's involvement in Jeffrey Epstein's island, and also by the Clintons, who may or may not have a very long track record of people who mysteriously died who had ties to them. So yeah, that probably wouldn't go over very, very well with the liberal media. So the final straw was a tweet, which I'll post right up here for you, that says, Jews were beaten in the streets not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is that any different from hating someone for their political views in today's culture? That's what she said. The Nazis first turned their people on the Jews. That is what they first did. You can sway a narrative and public opinion to make an enemy of one specific people, then you're not going to have any problem justifying what you end up doing to those people. If you got popular opinion, that's more powerful than the law. It's more powerful than the laws of humanity. And so that's what they did. Comparing what's going on in this country to that, it might be a little extreme. I understand where she's coming from. She's talking about the dangers of a mob mentality. That the dangers of a mob mentality that is fueled by your government, which is exactly what they're doing. Nancy Pelosi herself, 80-year-old demon spawn, said her gun-toting Republican colleagues are the enemy within the House of Representatives. They are the enemy. She called them out. She specifically said those words. They are the enemy within. I thought we were all Americans. Whether we were gun-toting Republicans or gentle, easily triggered, I think upon my feelings, well, I act upon my feelings, little liberals, I figured we're all Americans. But no, the real enemy of the Americans are the Republicans in Congress. Said from the Speaker of the House. AOC, that crazy woman, said that Trump supporters should be remembered, documented, punished, and put into forced re-education. Look it up. You can fact check me on this. She said that. She said all Trump supporters need to be re-educated. And we need to remember them for what they did and make them pay. How ridiculous is that? About as ridiculous as anything else that comes out of her mouth, I guess. Some things in this world make you want to drink a little bit. I'm enjoying a Buffalo Trace bourbon and a little bit of ginger. That's right. On the Freedom Hub here, I celebrate everything American. Everything that is American to me. So I do whiskey reviews because I really like sitting down with a whiskey. Nothing really makes me feel more American. Except maybe firing a gun. Firing a gun. Celebrating my Second Amendment rights. That's another thing I enjoy very much. Never both at the same time, of course. Drink responsibly and always use firearms responsibly, kids. But on this channel, you will find political commentary such as this, as well as whiskey reviews, as well as firearm reviews. Some of the best things from America and more every week, I promise. So go ahead and subscribe, and you'll see them pop up. Thank you. Moving on. So, how does cancel culture relate to what exactly is going on with government? Well, just look at the name, cancel culture. It is actually trying to cancel, it is a culture of canceling, but at the same time, you could be trying to cancel an entire culture. And a lot of the times, especially within the past couple of decades, that culture are Republicans and conservatives. That's who they are. That's who they're calling out. And they cancel everything that makes somebody a conservative or a Republican, everything that you hold dear. Let's get into that. When a liberal is provoked, which is pretty easily accomplished, they react on their feelings and peacefully protest your city to the ground. It's one of their biggest weaknesses. While labeled the party of unity, they have done anything but unify. They say that we are all one people, yet they constantly correct you on what labels to use for people of certain races, ethnic backgrounds, and on what pronouns specific individuals prefer. They label Republicans and conservatives as white supremacists and incite violence against them constantly. Go ahead and look it up. Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, and others. AOC. Constantly inciting violence, telling people to get after them. But they don't incite any riots, and they don't get called on it. Labels divide us more and more and put us in our own little groups, so it makes it easier for a controlling government to deal with them. It's a lot easier for a controlling government to deal with these all these little separate groups. We got LGBTQAI+. We can't group that into one thing. It's the L's, it's the G, it's the B's, it's the T's, it's the A's, it's the I's. And it goes on and on and on. Republicans are just, since they're, enemy number one, just straight up label them as white supremacists, KKK members, insurrectionists, treasonous people that they are. And they know exactly how to deal with you once they separate you into your little groups. And that goes with economic class as well. They work out their little tax brackets and everything so they can make sure you either get paid or punished enough. And that your money goes to different things that maybe you didn't want your tax dollars to go to, but electing members to Congress is really the only say that you have in what happens to your tax dollars. You still have to pay taxes. It's illegal not to. You get thrown in jail. Tax evasion. It's a thing. So they got their own little separate groups. And the middle class is disappearing. As you've seen or heard a whole lot within the last 2 decades. The middle class has all but disappeared. You're either born uber rich or you're taxed into poverty. It's pretty much how they want it to happen. Liberals and Democrats don't care about the American middle class. They don't. They used to be the party of blue-collar workers, the hardworking American. That's what they were all about, pro-union. What happened? Well, I know a lot of unions wised up and saw that they hadn't really been helping them at all. Punishing their workers, taxing them more. They made them so successful they could justify taxing them into poverty. And let me just go on record by saying taxation is theft to America. I'm sorry I got off on a bit of a tangent, but they like their labels, their economic labels, their social labels, label. But remember, they're the party of unity. They want to bring us all together. Keep that in mind as we go forward. Biden spoke of uniting the country, but everything he has done in the last 40 days or so has done nothing but drive us further apart from one another. Killing our borders. Bombing Syria again. Looks like he got us right back into another endless war. Way to go, Joe. Bombing Syria again. I really think like it's his favorite thing. Because he does it a lot. Letting illegal immigrants into the country at record numbers. He brought back catch and release. Hey, we got them. They're sneaking over our border. We got them. Okay, what do we do with them? Just let them go. Let them go like back into Mexico or to the countries that they came from. No. Just let them back in our country. The country they were trying to get into illegally. Just let them go. And he also does this without testing them for COVID. I don't know if you know or not, because the media, mainstream media, doesn't really cover it a whole lot. You notice they stopped covering other countries and their COVID problems when ours became a big enough problem that they could exploit and possibly steer an election a certain way. That's when they stopped covering the problem in Italy and all over the rest of the world. So probably because they didn't want to show that those countries were getting a lot better and things were going to be okay for them. But the point is Mexico is and has been having a huge COVID problem. And a lot of people who are coming over the border are leaving Mexico because of that problem, and most of them are more than likely infected. But I can't tell you for sure. I can't tell you one way or another because we're not testing them. We're not testing them once we catch them from coming over the border. And those are just the ones we do catch. So a country that has a much higher population of infected active cases. These people are coming from that to here. So there is a very good chance those people are infecting our American citizens. And Biden is letting this happen. He's literally killing his own citizens when you think about it. If COVID is as deadly as they say it is. He also continues the COVID scare in order to keep government controlling the people. That's what it has been about since its inception almost a year ago. Make sure to join us here on the Freedom Hub in about 2 weeks, where we celebrate a 1-year anniversary celebration of 2 weeks to flatten the curve. We're going to talk about it just a little bit. Here's a little taste. Here's a quick word on masks. A virus hitching a ride on a droplet is only visible by an electron microscope. Do you know what a cloth mask looks like under an electron microscope? If you're not looking directly at a specific fiber, you can't see any of the fibers when you magnify on it. When you're magnified to the level that you would have to be at to see a virus, you can't see any of the fibers. So you have your window. The fibers are out here because they are spaced so far apart. Droplet, fibers. Like a hot dog down a hallway. Or, as I like to say, like a screen door on a submarine. Masks. You don't need them, but you do, and you should probably wear 3. Maybe. Thanks, Dr. Fauci. Moving on. The latest thing that Sneaky Joe has done is appoint Rachel Levine to the Assistant Health Secretary position. Qualifications? Oh, none really. Unless you want to bring up that she pulled her mother out of a nursing home while simultaneously assisting Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf to pack the nursing homes with COVID patients. Yeah, she pulled her own mother out while encouraging Tom Wolf, the governor of Pennsylvania, to pack those nursing homes with the COVID patients. Yeah, you know, like Cuomo did, like Whitmer did, and others. So while they were condemning everybody living in the nursing homes to death, she pulled her own mother out, saved her. So she did save a life. Qualifications. You could talk about that being a qualification. You could also talk about how she supports genital mutilation in minors and the use of puberty blockers in minors to save them from the horror of developing into a gender that they don't identify as. Puberty blockers for children, so that a woman trapped inside a man's body doesn't experience the horror of turning more and more into a man over the years. Sounds horrifying if you're an adult. But you're a child. And I can't forgive that. Get into that in a second. So why did Biden nominate her? Because she's transgender. And that's progressive as fuck. Being the first. It's what they care about. A quick word on transgenderism or transgendernomics, transgenderitis. I don't know really. If you're a consenting adult, you can make whatever decisions that you want. I don't care if you want to wear a dress instead of jeans or jeans instead of a dress. I don't care. You do you. I really don't care. You do your thing. I have nothing against it. I don't. So don't blow up this video saying I'm against transgender people, because I'm not. I deal with transgender people on a regular basis in public. I do. I see them. I talk to them. I interact with them. And it's fine. There's no hate mongering or anything like that. So don't try to twist this. I have no problem with you doing you. It's fine. Now, what I do have a problem with is if you demand that everybody else to deny biology because you have decided to do so yourself. You could change the chemical composition. You can. You can change what's in the glass, but you can't change the glass. That's just how it is. There's the chemical composition and there's biology. If you were born a man, you're a man. You can change up the chemical composition with hormones and blockers and all sorts of stuff to change yourself into a woman, and sure, you can go right for it. That's fine. But because you don't agree with what you were born as, doesn't mean you have the right to punish other people. Now, what I'm referring to are certain laws that exist, like in Canada, where if you refer to somebody by the incorrect pronouns that that person has chosen for themselves, then you could be thrown in jail and fined for hate speech. This is something that they are entertaining in America and have been for a while. Transgender and people and the LGBTQ, so on and so forth, community has been really pushing it for a while because they want people to feel comfortable in society. And when you call somebody by the wrong pronouns, then you're not making them feel very comfortable in society. If you're a dude in a dress, and you look like a dude in a dress, somebody's going to say, "Hey, man, what's up, dude?" You can't throw them in jail for that. You can ask them nicely. You could just be like, "Hey, I actually prefer she or her." That's fine. And, you know, a lot of people are very understanding and very open to those kind of things, very progressive thinking. And it's just like, "Hey, I actually prefer to be called she. Refer to me as she, please. It makes me feel more comfortable." You're like, "Okay, yeah, cool, no problem." People are very understanding. They really are. But when you jump right into attack mode, "He called me a dude." What the heck? Find them and throw them in jail? Come on. Like I said, don't demand everybody else to deny biology because you have. That's where I have the problem. That and allowing people between the ages of 3 and 17 to mess up their bodies for life. It's irreversible. A face that was not meant to grow a beard, that you take hormones to make it so you can grow a beard and you can shave. Even if you stop taking the hormones, that face is always going to grow a beard. That's right. It's irreversible. That is science. I am not a science denier. That is a fact. If for some reason a confused teenager decides that she is really a man trapped inside a woman's body and decides it gets enabled by society and her parents to take the hormones and everything to fully transition into a man. And then she gets to college and she meets people and she really kind of finds her niche in a social life and says, "Oh my God, I was wrong. I'm a woman. I'm a woman. I like men. I like to dress up in women's clothing because I'm a woman. I don't want to A lot of these women get double mastectomies. That's irreversible as well. Sure, you can get implants, but they're always going to look and feel like implants and be a constant reminder of what you did. It's not a fix. There are scars. Scars last. And that face will keep growing a beard. Oh, yeah. You could be the most beautiful woman in the world, but that beautiful woman, right before she went out on the red carpet, she had to shave with the Gillette Pro Glide 5-blade razor to get that nice and smooth. And she'll never be able not to. So enabling our children to do these things, to make these kind of decisions. Doctors take the Hippocratic Oath, which says that they will do no harm. They must preserve life at all costs. How is that not harming our children? That's what I got to say about transgendernomics. Getting back to cancel culture. In conclusion, the theme for CPAC, or the Conservative Political Action Conference, of 2021 was America Uncanceled. The underlying theme was that Trump's America is not dead. It's getting stronger than ever. Remember, when they refer to us as the silent majority, well, we found out not too long ago that silent majority is about 75 million strong and getting stronger by the day. Every time Biden comes out with a policy or Pelosi introduces a bill, something like that, check out H.R. 127. I'm going to be talking about that here pretty soon. It's that new gun bill that they introduced. It's awful. Spoiler alert. Every time they do something like that, every time they cancel the Keystone Pipeline and lose over 40,000 people their jobs, it pushes more and more people this way. It pushes more and more people towards the light, or the right, if you will. It's only a 1-letter difference between right and light. Pushes them towards the light. Make up your own mind. Ben Shapiro of the Daily Wire reached out to Gina Carano, remember who we mentioned, star of The Mandalorian, and signed a deal to have the Daily Wire produce a movie that she wrote, directed, and will star in. She is amongst friends now. Shouldn't Shapiro, of all people, be condemning her for her comments about the Jews during the Holocaust? Shouldn't he? If it was really that bad, if it was that bad that a corporation had to fire her and ban her from life, she will never be back on. They talked about, have you thought about rehiring her? And they said that is not an option. We are not even considering that. Not going to happen is what they said. So it's bad enough for them. But Ben Shapiro, while he says that, any sort of comparison to the Holocaust is a little distasteful, sure. But he got the point of what she was saying about the dangers of a government-controlled mob mentality going out and attacking a specific people for their beliefs. He understood that. Yeah. So, in conclusion, read your Harry Potter books. Listen to Lana Del Rey. That's your thing. Watch some Roseanne reruns. Talk to your neighbors about the dangers of cancel culture and the dangers of trying to cancel an entire culture. Just whatever you do, don't drink Coca-Cola. They want you to be less white, because being white, that's a bad thing. Thank you very much to all of our first responders, law enforcement, active military, as well as all of our veterans. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the video, and ring that bell, and let freedom ring throughout the land. We'll see you next time, guys. To America.